The weight of a lie is nothing until you have to carry it forever. And now, the ones who threw dirt on your name are crumbling under the weight of their own deception. They thought they could drag your name through the mud, but they forgot one thing: mud dries, cracks, and falls away. You, however, are still standing. They whispered behind your back, wove lies into the air, hoping to suffocate your light. But what they didn't realize was that every attack was just fuel. Every stone they hurled only built your foundation higher. The universe has been watching, and now it's time for balance to be restored. If you feel this message, if it speaks to you, hit like and subscribe. Let this signal reach others like you, because when enough chosen ones rise, the universe listens. The louder we stand, the harder it becomes for deception to win. You were never just anyone. You were chosen, not by man, not by chance, but by the universe itself. And that fact haunts your enemies. It keeps them awake at night, turning in beds that feel more like cages. Why? Because no matter how much dirt they throw, they can't touch what's meant to rise. The power of being chosen is not just about success. It's about survival. It's about walking through fire and coming out gold. Your existence alone is proof that they failed. Every time they tried to tear you down, they only reinforced what was already unbreakable. And the more they pushed, the more the universe aligned itself against them. Because they weren't fighting you, they were fighting the force that backs you. The irony: they thought they were in control. They thought they had the power to erase you, to rewrite your story with their lies. But the universe doesn't play by their rules. It flips the script. The same mouths that mocked you are now silent. The same hands that pointed at you in judgment now shake with regret. And those who once stood so boldly against you, look at them now, chained by the very energy they sent your way. But let's talk about you for a second. Because, chosen one, you failed yourself at times too. You let doubt creep in. You let their lies make you question your own power. You asked yourself if you were truly meant for more. And that's where you almost lost. Not because of them, but because of your own hesitation. Listen carefully. You were never alone. Not for a second. The universe doesn't choose at random. It marks those meant for something greater. It places its fire in them, and that fire can't be put out, no matter how much dirt is thrown on it. Your light is not just for you. It's for those still trapped in the shadows, waiting for proof that survival is possible, that rising is real, that vindication always comes. And now, it's here. The ones who fought you weren't just fighting a person. They were fighting fate itself. And no one wins that battle. So let them drown in the consequences of their own choices. Let them sit in the chaos they created. The universe has no sympathy for those who tried to destroy what it has blessed. And you, keep walking, keep rising. Because this is just the beginning. And thank you, yes, you, the chosen one. Whether you're new here or have been walking this path with us, your energy fuels this movement. If you've felt the weight of their lies, but know deep down that the universe is flipping the script in your favor, hit like, subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments. Let this be your signal to the universe that you are ready. Ready for your rise. Ready for your vindication, ready to step fully into the power they fear. And now, let's break it down, step by step. If you're truly chosen, you'll feel the pull to stay till the very end. Let's begin. Number 1. When the universe speaks for the chosen, the world has no choice but to listen. They tried to silence you, but the universe had already written your name in the stars. Now, the world hears what they tried to bury. They thought their words had power. They thought their schemes, their gossip, their backstabbing could silence you. They wanted to control the narrative, make people believe their twisted version of you. They underestimated one thing: you were never speaking alone. When you are chosen, you don't have to scream to be heard. You don't have to fight for validation. The universe speaks on your behalf. And when it does, the world has no choice but to listen. They mocked you when you were struggling, but now they can't ignore your name. Now they have to watch as the very things they said would destroy you become the reason you thrive. Because the universe doesn't whisper, it roars. At first, it felt like nobody saw you, like nobody noticed the battles you fought, the weight you carried, the injustice of it all. You kept wondering, why isn't anyone seeing the truth? Why are the liars being rewarded? But what you didn't know was that the universe was aligning the perfect moment for your rise. See, the universe doesn't rush. It doesn't operate on human time. It operates on impact. If your victory had come too soon, it wouldn't have hit as hard. If your name had been cleared too quickly, it wouldn't have been as undeniable. The universe let them dig their own hole, let them stack lie upon lie, let them build their illusion so that when the truth finally broke through, it shattered everything. And now the truth is so loud, they can't drown it out. They wanted to erase you, but your name is bigger than their whispers. They wanted to control how people saw you, but your presence speaks louder than their lies. They tried to stand in your way, but the universe moved them aside. That's the power of being chosen. When the universe backs you, it doesn't matter who doubts you. It doesn't matter who tries to stand against you. It doesn't matter what they plotted, what they tried, or how many people they convinced. The universe holds the final word, and when it speaks, the whole world listens. The ones who tried to silence you are now forced to hear your name everywhere they go. Your success is the conversation they can't escape. Your presence is the reality they can't deny. And no matter how much they try to avoid it, they are watching you rise. The very people who doubted you, who laughed at your struggles, who whispered behind your back, they are now the ones whispering about how they got it wrong. And that's the thing about universal justice. It doesn't just restore you, it humbles them. They thought they could manipulate reality, but the truth isn't something that bends for cowards. They thought they could rewrite your fate, but they were never the author of your story. And now they see it. Because when the universe moves for you, doors open that no enemy can shut. When the universe speaks for you, your name carries a weight that no gossip can erase. When the universe decides it's your time, nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop it. And that's what terrifies them. Because they thought their words could shape your future, but your destiny was never in their hands. The universe saw everything, every betrayal, every attack, every lie, and it has delivered its response loud and clear. You are untouchable. So now they have to sit in the mess they created, trapped by their own deception, while you walk forward, unbothered, unstoppable. They can keep talking, but no one is listening anymore. The only name the world hears now, yours. Number 2. They wrote a check with their lies. Now, karma's here to collect. The universe never forgets an unpaid debt. Every move, every word, every betrayal, stamped, stored, and scheduled for delivery. They thought time had erased what they did. They convinced themselves that because nothing happened right away, nothing would happen at all. They moved forward, untouched, unbothered, laughing like they got away clean. But karma doesn't operate on their schedule. It doesn't forget. It doesn't forgive. Karma is a ledger that never loses a number. Every action, every intention, every word spoken in deceit is written down in permanent ink. They might have fooled people, but they never fooled the system that tracks everything with eerie precision. The same universe they tried to manipulate was recording their every move, and now the playback has begun. That's the mistake they always make. They think silence means escape. They think because the universe didn't strike immediately, it must have missed what they did. That's how fools think. That's how people who play dirty convince themselves they've won. But karma isn't impulsive. It's calculated. It waits for the perfect moment, the moment that will hit the hardest, cut the deepest, and teach them a lesson they can never unlearn. They wrote a check with their lies. Now their future self has to cash it. That's the part they never saw coming. They weren't just setting you up, they were setting themselves up. Every bit of harm they caused, every piece of chaos they sowed, every betrayal they thought would stay hidden, it's all coming back with interest. Because karma isn't just about payback, it's about balance. It restores what was disrupted. It ensures that no deception goes unanswered. And when it moves with precision. The same people who sabotaged you, whispered behind your back, tore down your name like it was sport. They're starting to feel the shift now. The walls are closing in. Look at their lives. Watch closely. They're losing the very things they used to prop themselves up. The fake friendships, the false confidence, the lies they told to make themselves look good, all unraveling. Because karma doesn't just punish, it exposes. It drags their deeds into the light, where everyone can see them for who they really are. They thought they controlled the game. They thought they could play the system, throw their dirt, and walk away untouched. But the game was rigged from the start, against them. What's happening now isn't random. It's balance being restored. And the best part, you didn't even have to do a thing. That's what really stings them. They expected retaliation. They thought you'd fight dirty, that you'd throw yourself into their mess and lose your focus. But you didn't need revenge. You let time handle it. You let karma sharpen the knife. And now they're facing something they can't outrun. They used to sleep easy. Now, their own conscience is hunting them down. Their own energy is pulling them under. The same lies they spread are coming back to haunt them. And the universe, it's just getting started. See, karma never forgets a debt. It never forgets a betrayal. It never forgets a single action. And when it collects, there are no negotiations, no excuses, no escape. The best part? This isn't even about revenge. It's about accountability. They wanted to play with fire. Now they get to burn. Number 3. They tried to stain you. Now their filthy hands are exposed. The dirt they threw never touched you. It only covered them, leaving stains they can't wash away. They thought they were clever, thought if they slandered your name enough, if they whispered the right lies into the right ears, they could make people see you the way they wanted. But what they never understood is this: dirt doesn't stick to what's solid. Every false word, every twisted accusation, every backhanded insult, none of it changed who you are. It didn't strip you of your worth. It didn't redefine your truth. All it did was reveal them. Because slander doesn't come from strength. It comes from weakness. They weren't attacking you because of what you did wrong. They were attacking you because of what you did right. Because you had something they lacked. Because you moved in a way they couldn't. Because your presence alone made them uncomfortable. So they threw dirt, hoping it would stick. But what happens when you throw dirt with dirty hands? The real filth stays on the one throwing it. And that's exactly what happened. For a moment, it might have seemed like their lies were working. Maybe people listened. Maybe the whispers spread. Maybe you even started to question yourself, wondering if the world would ever see past the mess they tried to make of your name. But the truth has something that lies never will: longevity. Lies burn bright and fast, but truth is fireproof. While they were exhausting themselves trying to tear you down, you stood firm. You didn't play their game. You didn't lower yourself to their level. You didn't need to. You let them dig their own hole. And now, the dirt isn't on you, it's on them. Look at them. Look at how their actions are catching up to them. Look at how their reputation is shifting. The same people they convinced to turn against you. They're starting to question everything. The ones who once believed their lies, they're seeing the truth for themselves. Because real recognize real, and fake always gets exposed. That's the irony of it all. They spent so much time trying to make you look bad, they didn't realize they were only showcasing their own ugliness. And now they're trapped in it. They can't go back and undo what they did. They can't erase the way they moved. They can't pretend to be pure when everyone has seen their hands covered in filth. And you walk away untouched. Not because you weren't tested, not because it didn't hurt, but because you never needed to fight dirty. You let integrity handle it. You let time handle it. You let the universe handle it. And the result? You stand stronger, cleaner, untouchable. While they scramble to wipe the dirt off themselves, you don't even have to look back. Because the truth always wins. And now everyone sees exactly who they are. Number 4. The tables didn't turn. They got flipped, shattered, and burned. They stacked the deck, rigged the game, and laughed at the thought of losing. But karma doesn't turn tables. It throws them straight into the fire. They thought they had it all figured out. Sitting high, comfortable in their illusion of power, they controlled the board, pulling strings, twisting truths, and dealing dirty behind the scenes. They believed they were untouchable, that the lies they sat upon were solid enough to hold them forever. They smirked, they schemed, they moved like they owned the game. But here's what they never saw coming. Karma doesn't turn tables, it flips them over and sets fire to the wreckage. This was never going to be a quiet shift. It was going to be loud, brutal, and leave no room for escape. Because when things change for the chosen, they don't change subtly. They collapse completely. And right now, as they sit in the aftermath of their own destruction, they finally understand. The game was never really theirs to control. They built their world on deceit, stacking their table with fraud, manipulation, and carefully crafted illusions. They placed their bets on deception, convinced that truth would never catch up. But a table built on lies is nothing more than a house of cards waiting for the right wind to knock it over. And that wind just arrived. What they once used as a weapon, a shield, a throne, is now nothing more than a pile of broken pieces. The alliances they trusted, gone. The power they abused, vanished. The comfort they once lounged in, replaced with chaos. They are now standing in the very mess they created, scrambling to hold on to something, but there's nothing left to grasp. Because when karma moves, it doesn't just take their seat, it removes the entire damn table. And the best part? Everything they tried to keep hidden is now out in the open. No more secrets, no more facades, no more pretending. Every lie they whispered in the dark, every backroom deal, every time they thought they were clever enough to outmaneuver the truth, it's all been exposed for the world to see. They wanted to control the game. They wanted to manipulate the outcome. But what they forgot is that no one controls karma. And now, They are standing in the wreckage, looking around, realizing the brutal truth. It was never their table to own in the first place. The power they wielded. It wasn't power, it was borrowed time. The victories they celebrated, nothing more than illusions that faded the moment the real game began. And here's the best part. You didn't have to do a damn thing. You didn't have to fight for a seat at their table. You didn't have to play by their rules. You didn't have to beg, plead, or scheme, because karma already cleared the entire room for you. The playing field has been leveled, and guess what? They didn't make the cut. They were never really in control. They only had the illusion of it, and now that illusion has been shattered beyond repair. While they scramble, while they try to gather the pieces, you stand untouched, unbothered, unbreakable, because you never needed their table. You were meant for something greater. And as they choke on the dust of their own downfall, they finally realize the universe didn't just turn the tables, it flipped them, broke them, and left nothing for them to return to. Number 5. They built their lies like a fortress. Now it's their prison. A lie is like a ticking bomb. Sooner or later, it detonates in the hands of the one who set it. They thought they were clever. They thought if they spread their lies fast enough, loud enough, and with enough conviction, people would believe them forever. They ran their mouths, twisted the truth, and stacked deception on top of deception, hoping it would all hold up. But here's what they never understood. Lies don't last. They burn bright, but they burn out just as fast. Truth, on the other hand, it doesn't need an audience, it doesn't need theatrics, it just needs time. They worked overtime to paint you as the villain, to rewrite your story with their version of reality. And for a while, it seemed like they were winning. People listened, people whispered. You felt the weight of their words pressing down on you, making you wonder if the truth would ever come out. But here's the thing about falsehoods. They always crack under their own weight. Because lies demand maintenance. They have to be repeated, reinforced, and covered up with even more deception. And the bigger the lie, the harder it becomes to keep up. Eventually, something slips. Someone notices a contradiction. A detail doesn't add up. A truth leaks out where they didn't expect it. And suddenly, the entire illusion starts crumbling. While they were busy running their mouths, the truth was working quietly in the background, brick by brick, building its case. They underestimated that. They thought they could rewrite reality, but reality isn't so easily fooled. And now, their own web is tightening around them. The very people they convinced are starting to see the cracks. The same crowd that cheered when they tried to destroy you is beginning to doubt. Because no matter how much effort they put into selling their lies, the truth doesn't need to be sold. It just needs to be revealed. It was never a fair fight. You were playing the long game. They were sprinting toward their own downfall. That's the difference between lies and truth. Lies move quickly because they have to. Truth moves with certainty because it knows it will win. And now it's happening right in front of them. The irony? The very lies they told to bury you are now burying them. The same rumors they used as weapons have turned on them. The energy they put into deceiving others is now boxing them in. Because lies don't just disappear, they leave a trail. And once that trail is exposed, there's no running from it. They wanted to play games with reality. They thought they could manipulate perception, twist people's minds, and walk away unscathed. But they didn't account for the weight of their own deception, and now it's crushing them. The moment they thought would never come is here. People are seeing them for who they truly are. The truth is exposing them in ways they never anticipated. and there's no covering it up now. They built their lies like a fortress, but all they did was trap themselves inside. And you didn't have to match their energy. You didn't have to scream back, to fight dirty, to lower yourself to their level. All you had to do was stand firm. And look at you now, still standing, still rising, still untouchable. Because the marathon of truth always outlasts the sprint of lies, and they just ran themselves straight into a wall. Number 6. They thought they won. Now they're front row to their own downfall. The universe doesn't just balance the scales, it makes sure everyone watches when it does. They thought they got away with it. They thought they could do their damage in the shadows, spread their lies behind closed doors, and never be held accountable. They laughed, they celebrated, they sat comfortably in the belief that they had won. But what they never realized was that the universe was reserving them a front row seat to their own reckoning. See, justice isn't just about setting things right. It's about making sure there's no room for doubt when it happens. The universe doesn't just clear your name, it makes sure everyone sees it happen. That's why it felt like nothing was moving for so long. That's why you sat there, waiting, wondering when the truth would finally be revealed. It wasn't a delay, it was a setup. While you were in the storm, the universe was arranging the perfect moment. Not a second too early, not a second too late, just in time for maximum impact. Because the truth isn't just meant to be whispered, it's meant to be broadcast. And now, the curtain is rising. The very people who doubted you, who threw dirt on your name, who sat smugly convinced that their version of reality would stick, they can't escape what's unfolding. The truth isn't creeping in quietly, it's slamming down like a gavel, loud, unmistakable, unstoppable. And they can't look away. They wanted to be the main characters in a story they made up, twisting the narrative to fit their agenda. But they never realized that the story was never in their control. The moment they moved against you, they unknowingly became part of the script written to expose them. That's how the universe works. It doesn't just serve justice, it does it with precision. So now they're forced to sit there and watch as the truth unfolds in front of them. And the best part? You didn't have to lift a single finger. That's what's hitting them the hardest. They did everything in their power to see you fail. They lied, manipulated, played their games, and threw every trick they had at you. But you didn't need revenge. You didn't need to scheme. You just had to hold your ground while the universe handled the rest. And now, they're the ones drowning in the consequences of their own actions. The same lies they told are now trapping them. The same stories they spread are collapsing in on them. The same people they convinced are starting to see them for what they truly are. And you're still standing. This isn't just about proving you were right. This is about showing them they were never in control. They thought they could rewrite the truth, that their lies would be enough to bury you. But the universe doesn't let deception win. It doesn't just clear your name, it makes a spectacle out of their downfall. Now, they're not just being exposed, they're being humbled. And the best part? You don't even have to say a word. They'll feel it. They'll hear it in the whispers around them, in the conversations they're no longer invited to, in the way people look at them differently. They'll know, without a doubt, that they lost. Because when the universe steps in, it doesn't do damage control. It does damage confirmation. This was never a delay. It was never a case of maybe justice will come. No, it was a calculated moment where everything lined up so perfectly, so undeniably, that no one, not even them, can deny what's happening. So let them sit in it. Let them absorb the weight of what they've done. And you, keep walking, keep rising. Because this is what true vindication looks like. Number 7. They mistook your silence for defeat. Now it's the loudest thing in the room. A fool makes noise. The wise watch in silence and strike when the time is right. They thought your silence meant surrender. They thought if you didn't fight back, it meant you had nothing to say, nothing to defend, nothing to stand on. They mistook your quiet for weakness. But silence is never empty. It's calculated. It's patience, power, and precision wrapped in restraint. And while they were busy running their mouths, while they were fabricating lies, spreading rumors, and screaming for attention, you stood still, unshaken, unmoved, unbothered. You could have fought back. You could have shouted your truth from the rooftops, engaged in the war of words, and met their noise with even greater volume. But you didn't, because you knew better. You knew they were setting traps, waiting for a reaction, hoping for a misstep, desperate for you to engage. They wanted anger. They wanted frustration. They wanted proof that they could control you, that they could pull you into their pathetic games. You denied them that satisfaction, and that's what broke them. While they were out there making noise, their words were doing more damage to themselves than to you. The lies became inconsistent. The stories started to crumble, and the longer you remained silent, the more obvious their desperation became. Because that's the thing about silence. It creates contrast. Your stillness became a mirror that reflected everything they were trying to hide. The more they screamed, the more foolish they looked. The more they lied, the more tangled their own web became. And now, your silence is deafening. The moment they feared the most has arrived. Vindication. And it didn't come because you fought for it. It didn't come because you lowered yourself to their level. It came because you stood in your power and let the truth do the work. Your silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. Because silence doesn't mean inaction. It doesn't mean ignorance. It doesn't mean you weren't aware of what was happening. It means you were watching, waiting, letting them self-destruct under the weight of their own deception. And now they have nothing left to say. The people who once believed them, they see the truth now. The ones who cheered for your downfall, they're embarrassed to have ever listened. The same voices that were once so loud, so confident, so arrogant. Suddenly, they're silent. And that's the irony. They were the ones who counted on silence to protect them. They thought their lies would go unchallenged, that their version of the story would be the only one people heard. They relied on silence. But now, silence is what's exposing them. Because silence doesn't erase truth. It amplifies it. The moment they feared has arrived, not because you forced it, but because they couldn't sustain their own illusion. This is the power of silent resilience. You didn't need to defend yourself with words, because your character did it for you. You didn't need to fight their accusations, because their own actions fought against them. You didn't have to prove anything, because time always reveals the truth. And now the truth is out. The louder they were, the harder they fell. And you're still standing, unshaken, unmoved, and louder than ever, without saying a word. Number 8. They tried to silence you. Now their own noise is swallowing them whole. The more they screamed, the more they revealed. The more they lied, the deeper they dug their own graves. And now, the echoes of their own deception are the only thing they hear. They thought if they yelled loud enough, people would believe them, that if they repeated the lie often enough, it would become the truth. They scrambled, desperate to drown out your voice, to distort reality, to control the narrative. But in their arrogance, they made a fatal mistake. They underestimated the way the universe amplifies truth. Because karma doesn't just bring justice, it magnifies it. They screamed their accusations into the world, hoping to bury you beneath the noise. But sound carries, and in their effort to make people hear them, they made sure their own downfall would be just as loud. Every false word, every slanderous claim, every desperate attempt to turn others against you, it all left a mark. A ripple that grew, a vibration that never faded. They thought they were writing the final chapter of your story, but what they didn't realize was that they were just setting the stage for the loudest truth bomb of all. Because truth echoes. They wanted to erase your voice, but instead, they turned up the volume on their own guilt. And now, their own words are coming back to haunt them. The people who once listened to them are starting to hear something different. The stories they crafted so carefully are falling apart. The version of reality they sold so convincingly is no longer holding up. And worst of all, their own voices are now the proof of their deception. Because the louder they talked, the more they exposed themselves. That's the poetic justice in all of this. They thought they were controlling the story, but they were just narrating their own destruction. They thought they could drown out the truth, but the universe has a way of making sure the truth doesn't just whisper, it roars. And now, they're the ones drowning in the noise. The same words they used to break you are now breaking them. The same lies they screamed at the top of their lungs are now the very echoes that follow them everywhere they go. Because falsehoods are hollow, but truth carries weight. Lies crumble under their own weight. But truth, it stands, it grows, it expands, and the moment it breaks free, it doesn't just whisper through the cracks, it erupts. They can feel it now. The ground shifting beneath them, the walls closing in, the very sound of their own deception becoming a constant reminder of what they did. They're starting to see what you knew all along, that truth doesn't die. It doesn't fade. It doesn't get lost in the noise. It waits. It builds. It strengthens. And when it finally explodes into the world, it's undeniable. They thought they had won. They thought they had silenced you forever. But instead, they made sure your truth would be heard louder than ever before. Karma is surround sound, and their lies are being drowned out. Now, the only thing people are hearing is the truth they tried to bury. And you never had to scream. You never had to fight dirty. All you had to do was stand in your truth. And now, it's the only thing anyone hears. Number 9. They wanted to ruin you. Now they can't even hide themselves. The truth doesn't just set you free, it puts them in a cage they built with their own lies. Vindication isn't just about clearing your name, it's about turning the tables. It's about exposing what was always there, hidden beneath the surface. It's about unmasking their true motives and showing the world exactly why they came for you in the first place. They didn't attack you because you were wrong. They didn't drag your name because you were guilty. They came for you because you were a threat. You had something they lacked: strength, integrity, authenticity. You were everything they could never be, and that's why they moved against you, not out of righteousness, not out of justice, but out of insecurity, out of fear, out of desperation. But see, deception can only last for so long. Lies are temporary, but truth is permanent. They played their game thinking they could control the narrative, thinking they could manipulate reality and make their version of events stick. But they forgot one thing. The truth doesn't just emerge, it erupts. And when it does, it doesn't just clear your name, it exposes them. This is the part they never planned for. They thought they could frame you as the problem, the villain, the one who needed to be taken down. But what happens when the mask slips? What happens when the people who once believed them start asking the right questions? Everything changes. Because vindication isn't just about proving your innocence, it's about making them answer for what they did. It shifts the entire focus. Now, instead of you being questioned, they are. Instead of you having to defend yourself, they're the ones scrambling for explanations. And there is no defense for what they did. Every lie they told, every rumor they spread, every attempt they made to tarnish you, it wasn't about you at all. It was about them, their own insecurities, their own hidden agendas. They tried to project their failures onto you. They wanted to dim your light because it shined too bright on their darkness. And now, with the truth out, they're exposed. The people they fooled, they're backing away. The ones who believed their lies, they're questioning everything. The sympathy they once had, gone. Because that's what happens when you build an empire on deception. It crumbles. And now they stand in the ruins of their own making. They thought they could attack you without consequence, that they could manipulate the truth and walk away untouched. But the universe doesn't allow that. What you send out always comes back. And now they're the ones under the spotlight. The same voices that once echoed their lies are now demanding answers. The same people who were quick to believe them are now seeing the cracks. Their credibility is shattered. Their reputation is in ruins. And the worst part, they did it to themselves. This is the beauty of divine vindication. It doesn't just clear your name, it rewrites the entire story. It takes you from being the accused to being the one who stood strong against the storm. And it takes them from being the accuser to being the frauds they always were. And the best part, there's no undoing it. They can't take back what they did. They can't erase the way they moved. Once the truth is out, it stays out. The masks they wore, gone forever. People will never look at them the same way again. No matter how hard they try to recover, no matter what excuses they make, the stain of their deception will never wash off. Because when the truth cuts through the lies, it leaves scars. And now you walk free. You don't have to explain yourself anymore. You don't have to fight to be heard. They have to fight to be believed. And that's justice. Number 10. They tried to write your story, but your legacy drowned out their lies. A whisper might reach ears, but a legacy reaches generations. They played with rumors, while you built something they'll never erase. They thought their words would define you, that if they whispered in enough ears, if they spread enough rumors, if they spun their stories long enough, you'd shrink into the small version of yourself they created. They truly believed that their gossip had the power to shape your reality. But gossip is temporary. Legacy is permanent. They were playing a petty, fleeting game, and you were building something that will stand long after their voices fade. Because that's what they never understood. They were busy running their mouths while you were running your purpose. They were trying to make noise while you were making impact. And now, their words are dissolving like smoke, while your name carries weight that no amount of slander can touch. At first, it might have felt like they were winning, like their words had power. You saw people turn their heads, whisper back, maybe even believe the nonsense for a while. It stung, didn't it? To know that people were so quick to listen, so eager to assume the worst. But let me tell you something, none of that mattered. Because while they were talking, you were doing. And actions always speak louder than whispers. You see, gossip has an expiration date. The truth doesn't. The words they threw around so carelessly. They held weight for a moment, but they didn't last, because words without truth behind them collapse under the weight of time, and time, chosen one, is on your side. Their rumors were ripples in a pond. Your legacy is an ocean. No matter how hard they tried to reduce you to a scandal, a rumor, a one-dimensional version of who you are, your impact was too deep to be erased. They forgot that real influence doesn't come from what people say. It comes from what people remember. And what people remember about you isn't their gossip. It's your strength, your resilience, your ability to rise despite it all. And that's why they failed. They thought they could define you, but you were never something they had the power to define. Your legacy isn't in their words, it's in your work. It's in the lives you've touched. It's in the changes you've made. It's in the fact that no matter how much dirt they threw, you never stopped walking forward. Because legacy isn't built on opinions, it's built on impact. Think about it. Who will be remembered? The ones who spent their time trying to tear someone else down, or the one who, despite every attempt to break them, kept building? They can gossip all they want. It won't change the fact that your name holds more weight than their words ever will. And here's the best part. They know it. That's why they talk so much. That's why they keep whispering your name. They wouldn't be obsessed with tearing you down if they weren't already beneath you. They wouldn't be so desperate to rewrite your story if your story wasn't already greater than theirs. And that eats them alive. Because the truth is, they never had power over you. They just tried to convince you that they did. But now they're realizing that their words never had the strength to hold you back. And worse, they're realizing that their own name is fading while yours is being cemented. Because while they wasted their energy on gossip, you were out here making moves. While they were trying to get people to believe their lies, you were proving the truth through action. And now the contrast is undeniable. Because when all is said and done, who will history remember? The ones who spent their lives gossiping, or the one who built something that no rumor could shake? They thought their words could erase your worth. They were wrong. Because your legacy doesn't just outweigh their gossip, it buries it. Number 11. They spit on your name. Now they're drowning in their own poison. The venom they spewed was never meant for you. It was always a slow-acting poison in their own veins. They thought they could tarnish you. They thought if they dragged your name long enough through the filth, the stain would stick. They ran their mouths, twisted the truth, and wove their lies so tightly they believed them themselves. But what they failed to understand is this. The universe doesn't let its chosen ones fall. It lets them rise in full view of those who tried to destroy them. They weren't just playing with your reputation. They were playing with a system far bigger than their petty schemes. They moved against you, but they didn't realize they were moving against the very order of things. And now, the universe has turned its gaze back to them. What they sent out is returning, and it's hitting harder than they ever imagined. At first, you felt it, the weight of their betrayal, the sting of their words. You questioned, why is this happening? Why me? You wondered if you had the strength to withstand it. But chosen ones don't break under pressure. Pressure is what forges them. Every rumor, every attack, every whispered lie, it was never your downfall. It was your initiation. And while they laughed, you endured. While they plotted, you stood firm. And now they see what they've done. The same mouths that spat venom are now silent. The same hands that worked against you are trembling. Because the universe never forgets. They thought they were winning, but they were only building the very storm that would swallow them whole. The power of being chosen is a force they could never comprehend. It's not just about favor, it's about alignment. Alignment with the unseen forces that govern everything. When you are chosen, you don't just walk through life unnoticed. You stand out. You carry a weight they don't understand, a light they can't dim, a resilience they can't match. And that's why they hated you. Not because you did anything wrong, but because your very existence made them feel small. Your presence was a reminder of everything they lacked. So they did what weak people always do. They tried to destroy what they couldn't control. They threw dirt on your name, hoping it would stick, hoping it would make them feel powerful. They lied, they gossiped, they twisted the truth into weapons. They wanted to see you fall. But what they never realized is that the moment they moved against you, they set their own downfall in motion. That's how the universe works. You don't touch a chosen one and walk away unscathed. The energy you put out always comes back. But when you aim it at someone backed by something bigger than you, it multiplies. And now they're choking on their own poison. The lies they spread have looped back around, suffocating them. The very people they convinced to turn against you, they see the truth now. The ones who laughed with them, they're distancing themselves. The empire they thought they were building on your downfall, it's crumbling beneath their feet. And you're still here, still standing, still rising. That's the thing about the chosen. You don't just survive. You thrive in the face of everything they sent to destroy you. But let's get real for a second. You doubted yourself, didn't you? You let their words get into your head. You started believing the lies, started questioning your own light. You wondered if maybe, just maybe, they were right about you. And that's where they almost won. Not because they were strong, not because they had power, but because you forgot who the hell you are. Listen to me, you were never alone. Not for 1 second. The universe didn't bring you this far to leave you stranded. Every storm, every betrayal, every stab in the back was calculated. Not to break you, but to build you. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. And now that preparation is showing. Look at where you are. Look at what you've endured. They threw everything at you, and you're still here. They used every trick, every lie, every bit of manipulation, and still you stand. That's the part they can't understand. That's the part that's eating them alive. They thought you would fall apart under pressure. Instead, you became pressure. And now they're the ones feeling it. Their lies are suffocating them. Their own guilt is crushing them. The very people they tried to impress by tearing you down, they're watching them unravel. Because when the universe steps in, there's no escape. So let them sit in the mess they made. Let them deal with the weight of their own actions. Let them learn, the hard way, that you don't mess with what was never yours to touch. Number 12. They thought they got away. Now the clock has run out. They mistook silence for escape. They thought the universe had let it slide. But karma isn't blind. It's just patient. Vindication doesn't come on demand. It doesn't show up when you're desperate for it. It waits. And that's what makes it so devastating. See, karma isn't reckless. It's not some chaotic force throwing out random consequences. No, it's calculated. It watches, it waits, and then it strikes when the impact is undeniable. And that's exactly why it felt like nothing was happening while you were suffering. You thought the universe had overlooked what they did to you. You thought justice was delayed. But the truth is, it was never silence. It was set up. They had time to gloat, time to bask in the illusion of their victory. They walked around like they won, acting like their lies became reality, believing that because nothing struck them down immediately, they were in the clear. That was their mistake. Because while they were celebrating, the universe was keeping track. Every lie they told, every time they whispered your name with malice, every single move they made against you, it was being recorded. This is the power of divine timing. If vindication came too soon, it wouldn't hit as hard. If it came too late, it might lose its impact. But when it lands, it shatters everything. That's why the fall always looks so dramatic. One moment, they think they've won. The next, the very foundation beneath them starts cracking. Their own actions start turning against them. The people they manipulated, they start waking up. The ones who believed their lies, they start seeing through them. The ones who cheered while you suffered, they're suddenly nowhere to be found. Because that's the thing about karma. It doesn't just settle the score, it makes sure everyone sees it. They thought they were in control. They thought they could twist reality in their favor, rewrite your story, and walk away clean. But you can't outrun what you've done. You can't cheat the system. You can't manipulate your way out of universal law. What goes around doesn't just come back, it comes back with interest. And here's the part that really gets them. You didn't even have to do anything. That's what eats them alive. That's what makes the downfall even worse. You didn't have to lift a finger. You didn't have to plot. You didn't have to seek revenge. You didn't have to fight their way. You just kept moving. You kept your hands clean. You kept walking in your truth. And the universe handled the rest. They never expected this. They assumed that if something was going to happen to them, it would have happened already. That if karma was real, it would have struck them down instantly. But that's not how it works. The universe waits until the stage is set, until every single piece is perfectly aligned, so that when the truth is revealed, there's no escaping it. They don't get a warning. They don't get a moment to prepare. It just happens. And now it's here. The ground beneath them is crumbling, and for the first time, they feel what you felt. The isolation, the whispers, the judgment, the weight of their own actions crashing down on them. The irony is that you never had to wish for their downfall. You never even had to think about it, because the system they tried to play is the system that's now playing them. This isn't just about clearing your name. This is about exposure. The universe doesn't just restore balance. It makes sure everyone sees the truth for what it is. And when it happens, there's no argument, no excuse, no way to twist it. They thought they could manipulate their way through life, but they forgot the golden rule of karma. It collects debts when people least expect it. And now, their bill has arrived, right on time. And just like that, the tables have turned. The whispers have faded, the lies have crumbled, and the truth stands undefeated. They tried everything to silence you, to erase you, to bury you beneath their deception. But the universe had other plans. Now, the world sees what they tried to hide. Now, your name speaks louder than their noise. If this message resonated with you, hit like, subscribe, and drop the number 77 in the comments. Share this with another chosen one who needs to hear it. Because when we rise together, the universe makes sure the world listens.